There's a big problem online right now.
She didn't just leave the ballroom. She left with a warning. Hilaria Baldwin says she was bullied off Dancing with the Stars, and the timeline she lays out is messy, loud, and very, very public. 4 weeks of glitter, 8 counts, and a comment section that wouldn't quit. Was this the internet deciding the scores? Or the cost of being a Baldwin on live TV? Week 4 was supposed to be a breakthrough. She and Gleb Sevchenko hit the floor with a smile and a quick step everyone thought would buy them another week. The music popped. The footwork was cleaner than the week before. The judges were cordial. But then, reality TV's favorite twist, the votes rolled in. Lights dim. Names called. And just like that, Hilaria's DWTS run was over. A bow to the audience, a hug to her partner, and a camera catching the part people would argue about for days. The goodbye that didn't feel like goodbye. Because off stage, it wasn't really over. The next 72 hours were a storm. On Instagram Live, Hilaria didn't mince words. "I did get bullied off the show," she said. Not maybe. Not kind of. Her tone made it clear. This wasn't about one sour comment or a stray hater. She was talking about a pattern, a coordinated wave, the kind that slams into your notifications, drowns out the compliments, and recalibrates what fun is supposed to feel like on a family TV show. And she didn't stop there. On World Mental Health Day, she spoke again. If you've spent any time online, you already know the drill. A pile-on doesn't need facts, just momentum. Hilaria called it strategic bullying, not just trolling for clout. Campaigns of hate, memes that land like punches, rumors that read like headlines, words that don't disappear even after you close the app, because someone you love will send a screenshot and ask, "Are you okay?" She says some of the names behind the harassment have followed her for years. Some of the lies have become recurring characters. And she's convinced a segment of the audience only showed up to boo. But this is Dancing with the Stars. The rules are brutal on a good day. Judges' scores can smile in your face, and fan votes can still send you home. That disconnect, perform well, exit early, creates a vacuum, and the loudest explanation wins. In Hilaria's case, her explanation is straightforward. Online toxicity affected the vote. It wasn't the footwork. It wasn't the frame. It was the force of the crowd. Here's where the story splits. One path follows the scorecards. The other follows the shadow boxing happening on social media. On paper, the math makes sense. The show is half judges, half viewer love. If your base is soft, the bottom can drop out fast, especially when you're competing against fan armies that mobilize like it's a playoff game. Think about the juggernaut contestants this season. People with built-in audiences, daily engagement, and a fandom that treats text to vote like a mission statement. It's not a fair fight. It never has been. And yet, that's also the game everyone signs up to play. But zoom out, and you'll see why Hilaria feels like the deck was tilted. This wasn't a clean slate for her. Old headlines resurfaced the second she laced up her ballroom shoes. The accent discourse. The "is she? Isn't she?" snark. Years of jokes folded into one rolling eye emoji. Add the Baldwin name, with all its baggage, and suddenly every misstep is proof of a bigger narrative. Fair or not, that's the energy she walked into the studio with every Monday night. The ballroom lights get bright, the comments get brighter, and the person in the middle is just trying to count to 8. She tried to give the story a human edge. On the show's official podcast right after elimination, she talked about women's inhumanity to women. Her point was simple. We spend a lot of time saying support each other, and then we're quick to sharpen knives when another woman takes a big swing on a big stage. That line divided the audience. Some people nodded. Others said the critique was misfired. But whether you agreed or not, it was an unmistakable attempt to shift the conversation from steps to stakes, from judges to humanity. And yet, the ballroom isn't a classroom. It's a competition. So let's talk competition. As her votes thinned, other pairs surged. Some contestants came in with virality on speed dial, creators who can ask for 1 million votes in a single story post and get them before breakfast. Others have network fans who will watch them read the weather, much less dance the paso. And a few have that America's sweetheart glow that keeps them safe long past shaky knees and off-timed spins. If you've ever watched this show, you know the pattern. The sentimental favorite outruns the technician every season or two. That's not corruption. That's TV, but back to Hilaria. The moment some viewers can't unsee is what happened as the elimination closed. She grabbed the mic. Not a meltdown, more a reflex. A need to speak before the credits swallowed her whole. To thank, to explain, to plant a flag. Depending on your mood, it was either empowering or a lot. Her supporters saw a woman refusing to leave the stage without her own words. Her critics saw proof that she always wants the last word. That clip did exactly what clips do. It fed both sides. And the algorithm ate well. Behind the curtain, the speculation machine cranked up. Reports claim there were frosty moments. Rumors suggest some castmates were exhausted by the discourse around her. It's been said that certain pros bristled at the attention vortex. Are those claims airtight? No. Are they popular? Extremely. Because whispers are a currency, and people spend them like tips. None of that changes what happened on the scoreboard. But it does color the vibe in the rehearsal halls and the green room, where likability is a social economy that often drips out onto the dance floor. Now add family. Hilaria is not just a contestant. She's a mom to 7, the center of a household that exists inside tabloid crosshairs. That means every press junket question arrives with a side of "How's Alec?" Every outing is a potential headline. The more the family appears in your feed, the less room there is for nuance. So when she says campaigns of hate, she isn't just pointing at loose comments during Disney night. She's pointing at a climate that treats her last name as a magnet for every storm. And yet, for all the noise, she framed the experience as a gift. She thanked the audience. She praised the cast. She said the dance lit a spark she thought she'd lost. That's the plot twist people forget. Sometimes the villain edit walks out smiling. Sometimes the alleged diva is just a mom who learned a foxtrot and got smoked by a fan base with better Wi-Fi. Sometimes the truth is boring. But boring does not trend. Was she bullied off the show? Here's the uncomfortable answer. It can be two things at once. Yes, the show's voting system can eject you even on a decent night. Yes, the internet can create an atmosphere where your name gets booed before you take a step. If enough people decide you don't deserve joy, the dance won't feel like a dance anymore. It'll feel like a trial. And if we're being honest, that's what the modern fame machine looks like. Applause on the front end, heckling in the comments, and a finale decided by whoever yells, "Vote," the loudest. But that was only the beginning, because there's an afterlife to elimination. The feeds don't quiet just because your time card is clocked. In fact, the conversation grows teeth. Supporters rally. Detractors double down. Think pieces pop up about cyberbullying, accountability, and playing victim. Here's the part that stings. Once your exit gets politicized, you don't own your exit anymore. Everyone else does. Your words become evidence for someone else's case. Your tears become someone's favorite gif. And if you try to set the record straight, you're defensive. If you go silent, you're guilty. It's a maze with no exit sign. Hilaria tried to draw one anyway. In a video that felt half pep talk, half plea, she looked into the camera and said what a lot of public people are terrified to admit. This hurts. Not just the career. Not just the ego. The actual person. The body that still shakes after reading 500 strangers call you names you don't say out loud. The mind that starts bracing for impact every time you open your phone. The heart that wonders how a hobby turned into a referendum on your worth. And here's where we flip the lens back on the audience. There's a reason these shows still pull ratings after decades. They're not just competitions. They're mirrors. We pick favorites and then we behave like toddlers when someone threatens them. We confuse critique with spite. We call it just jokes, and then act surprised when those jokes draw blood. Maybe that's why Hilaria's words landed with a thud and an echo. Because even if you don't like her, even if you didn't vote for her, you recognize the pattern. You've seen someone get pile-driven online for sport. Maybe you've even clicked share. So where does this leave the ballroom? With a question that's bigger than any quick step. Can a show built on joy survive the outrage economy? Or will every elimination become a culture war skirmish where choreography matters less than controversy? If the answer is the latter, then we owe the dancers an apology. Because they didn't come to litigate their reputations. They came to do something beautiful for 90 seconds and hope you felt it. As for Hilaria Baldwin, she's out but she's not gone. She says she'll cheer her castmates. She says she's grateful. She says the experience woke up a part of her that was asleep. And that might be the real twist after all the noise. she still found the point: movement, music, a reason to smile that has nothing to do with a judge or a trending topic. But I'll leave you with this. If your least favorite celebrity danced in front of you, Liv, would you boo? Or would you put your phone down for one song and let a person be a person? Because somewhere between the scoring paddles and the hashtags, we forgot that watching someone try is the bravest thing on TV. So, did the internet decide week 4, or did the ballroom? Drop your take. Make it thoughtful. And if you've ever felt ganged up on online, tell us what helped you the most. We read it all. We just don't have to swing the knives.